Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. As you know, I'm spending a bit of time up in Oak Lodge over the festive period producing some special material for you to keep you entertained over this sort of slack part of the year. And I've got a question which was sent in to me by a viewer by the name of Russ. Now, I answered this question on one of my Patreon videos and I thought I'd share it with you here just so we add a bit of additional material here. And the question which came from Russ was, how would I describe a perfect day in my life? So let's pop into the other video and I will tell you what I think a perfect day is. So I'm going to answer a second question now. I told you it's going to be a long one today, and this one comes from Russ Arnold, who has asked me to describe my perfect day. My perfect day. Do you know, this caused me to think long and hard. And really the answer is multiples, because it depends on the time of year for a starter. So, you know, my perfect day in the summer will be very different to my perfect day now in December. I'm a winter guy. I love the winter. I love being in the outdoors, in rugged nature. So for winter is my sort of peak time, really. So I can answer your question, and I gave it some thought. So my favourite day will include some of these elements, if not all of them, all right? So first of all, doing something meaningful throughout the main part of the day. Now, what do I mean by that? For me, I've always worried that I would actually win the lottery, all right? Because I know that when I am inactive, I really don't take the most pleasure out of my life, all right? If I won the lottery and I was removed of the necessity to have to work for a living, or to spend my time in idle rest, it would ruin my life. I need something meaningful to do. So even on my perfect day, I need something meaningful to do, whether that's working, as I do now. I work for military charities at the moment, which is an intentional choice I took after I retired from my sort of main career. I wanted to do something which was valuable, and I would still need to do that, or even on my perfect day. Now that could be a number of things, you know, something meaningful. It could be working. It could mean just this, making a YouTube video in which I have the opportunity to create something. That for me is a really enjoyable day. It could mean going for a run, right? For me, like yesterday, I went for a 5-mile run in the morning. For the rest of the day, my mood was elevated. I felt happy. My well-being was on an upper because I had done something meaningful. I wrote in my journal, you know, at the end of the day, 5-mile run achieved. I knew I had to do it because I've got a 10-kilometer race coming up in just a few days. So I needed to get the miles under my belt, but I felt so much better for the rest of the day after that. So I would need to do something which was an investment of my mind or my body. And, you know, it could be a family activity, going out for the day, going to a museum, but I want to do something meaningful every day. And my perfect day would definitely have a meaningful activity. And kind of included with that is definitely exercise, be it my meaningful activity or something in addition. Because for me, when I take physical exercise, I am a better version of myself for the rest of the day after that. So I go for a run in the morning, I feel great. Mental well-being, not so much about the physical, you know, the old muscles are aching, the back is creaking afterwards, but the mind feels great because I know I've invested in myself and I've overcome an obstacle. Because at my age, taking exercise is not easy. I've got to push myself to do it. You know, whether it's running, at the moment I tend to do running, I tend to do swimming in the winter months because I'm a member of a health club and they've got a great swimming pool, so I can get a few laps in there. It's a good way of taking exercise which is easy on the joints, and then on the other days I'm cranking out the miles on the road. So, you know, it's a good balance for me. But exercise, and it doesn't have to mean something as I described there. I'm 53, going on 54 in 2 months. I've still got enough fitness to do those things. If I had less mobility, if I was maybe later in life, maybe going for a walk would fill that same position in my life. But exercise is definitely part of my perfect day, because the positive mental well-being is what it's all about. Eating would be an important part of my perfect day as well, because I love to eat clean, believe this or not. As a younger guy, I mean, I was a crappy eater, you know, and in my early 40s, really early 40s, late 30s, young family, son was a baby, you know, I ate poorly and I gained a load of weight, and I felt personally unhappy, not just about myself, but about the food that I ate at that time. And I revolutionized that in my very early 40s. I lost a lot of weight. I gained my self-respect and my fitness back at that point, and I vowed never to let it go. And I've stuck to that vow so far. But eating well has been a part of my life ever since. And if I eat cleanly throughout a day, I feel great. It's part of my perfect day for sure. Now that doesn't mean I don't have treats. Like I said earlier, I went up to Stratford on the weekend, and you know, I ate probably 4 days worth of food in 2 days because I was enjoying myself. I was in my family environment, enjoying our annual tradition. I even had a few glasses of wine. But when I came back out on the road, running it off, back to the clean eating. So for me, my perfect day may involve a treat when it comes to the food, but more likely it would involve eating cleanly, to, you know, for all of those things we talk about, well-being, both mental and physical. Some self-development would be part of my perfect day as well. It sounds so boring what I'm saying here, eating cleanly, taking exercise, but I set myself these goals in life so long ago now that they have become entrenched in the man that I am, and even when I'm thinking about my best day, I do these things to make that best day happen. So something like self-development, for me that might be investing an hour of the day in reading. Or it might be, as we talked about, encompassing them all together, doing something meaningful. It could mean going to the museum with my family, or going to a talk, or going to an event, or going to a lecture or a TED event like I did the other week, or going to, you know, one of the groups that I talked last week about putting yourself in an uncomfortable position just to grow a little. It could be that. It could be doing something like that. But I would like to include that in my perfect day because it would mean that I've improved myself that day. And for me, improvement is definitely part of my perfect day. I've had so many days in my life where I haven't improved myself, I haven't stretched myself, and I haven't been the best version of myself. And it's taken me until my middle years to realize it's so important to do those things each and every day. So I sort of try and engender those beliefs as I go through every day, even on my perfect day. Now, if you were to ask me, what's the favourite point of my day? What do I love the most these days more than anything else? It's the middle of winter. It's the shortest days of the year. It's bitterly cold. Where do I feel happiest in my current day? Doesn't have to be a perfect day. It's just an ordinary day. And for me, it will be probably in my house about 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. We'll have had dinner. The family will have sat down for dinner. My wife and my son and myself. We'll have had a lovely dinner. I'll have cooked a dinner because I cook most meals in our house because I like the food to be, you know, healthy and just so. And the way I find that I can ensure that is by being the chef. So I'll have cooked dinner. And I can tell you what we're having tonight. We're having salmon tonight with some rice and some vegetables. I bought cauliflower. So that's what's on dinner for tonight. Afterwards, we'll retire to the lounge. And in my lounge, I've got a wood-burning stove, all right? So, or fire. That will be roaring away. The cat, my cat is called Maisie. She's a tabby. She'll be lying in front of the fire, stretched out, lavishing herself in the basking glow of the fire. And it's some great pleasure of mine to just watch the cat have such contentment and joy that in a way of osmosis, it rubs off onto me. Seeing an animal enjoying itself so much from such a simple thing as the glow of a fire makes me feel better. And I'll be sat on the sofa. My son will be sat next to me and my wife on the other side because we have one big sofa and we'll be facing the TV, all right? And we will watch probably an hour of TV. And it'll probably be, the last few days, we've been watching this woodworking program on the telly. I know it makes us sound like the bloody, you know, most boring family in the world. But we enjoy quite factual, quite interesting programs where we get something out of it at the end. And that's my perfect night. My son will go up to bed. Me and my wife might watch a little bit extra TV, then we will follow up shortly after that, and I will fall asleep reading my book lying in bed. My wife will be snoring next to me with the book lying on her face usually. I'll nudge her, turn the light off, and that for me is my perfect evening in the cold time of year. In the warmth of the flannel sheets of my bed, I reflect upon what's happened during the day and take the lessons that I've learned from it forward into the following day. So there we go. Thanks Russ for your question. I revealed a lot about myself there for you. Hope you found that maybe useful, maybe not. Well, all right folks, there we go. That was my response to a perfect day. Might be different to what you would have expected. It wasn't really a day of luxury. It was more of an ideological approach to my perfect day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, click the old subscribe button. Don't forget you can contribute to the channel yourself by just leaving me a comment, dropping me an email. You could even buy me a coffee if you want to practically help the channel, or if you want to come on the journey with me like Russ did, who posed me the question, and he's a patron. You can join as a patron for £3 a month and you get the additional video content which I produce exclusively for my patrons. And all of that information is in the show notes below. So, continue enjoying the festive period, and I will see you again in the next video very soon.